afternoon, brothers. How y'all doing today? Man, good stuff. Yeah, I just want to let y'all know, man, it was no joke today. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I peek out the blinds, and I'm telling you, we got hit hard with a snowstorm, crazy. And I'm like, man, this is a 4.5-hour drive. It's about to turn into a 6.5-hour drive. But I'm just that way, though. I'm gonna get it done regardless, and that's why I am here today. So I just want to first of all, I just want to thank the administration for having me here and coordinating this event and just your investment into the population and the success of the population. I appreciate you putting this event together. I like to just acknowledge you for that, but I would be greatly remiss to not acknowledge those individuals who are in the building today, because I understand that this is not a requirement and you made a decision to be here. So I always take the time to acknowledge the individuals who say that, you know what, I'm gonna come down here and see what the good brother has to say, because I understand that a lot of times people can be a bit cynical in these walls and they feel like that somebody from the outside does not have a message that will be able to benefit you in your current state right here, right now, in your experience right here and right now. But you guys said that, you know what, I'm so hungry, I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna see if the brother got something to say. And that's why y'all are here, and I don't take that lightly. We are going to squeeze the juice out of every second, minute, hour that we have. Maybe we can put everybody on out count today, because we're going to get busy today. I'm going to push for it, but we're going to get busy. We're going to get busy today. I've been doing the celebration of Black History Month since 2013, and every year is more exciting because I get to uncover the life of an historical figure or an historical event and make a presentation out of it. Last year, what I did was a victorious mindset, telling you what type of mindset that we have to have in order to be able to defy the odds and just achieve victory, because at the end of the day, that's all it's about, is winning, right? We all want to win. At the end of the day, that's our spirit. We have the spirit for victory, and that's what it's all about. But this year, I'm going to go in a different direction. So this year, what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to be talking about holding on to the vision. In with the new, out with the old. Now, the thing about holding on to the vision and why it is so important to hold on to the vision is because a vision is something that you believe. A vision is in your heart. It's not what you see with your eyes. See, your eyes give you sight, but that vision has been placed in your heart. And that is something that is going to bless humanity as a whole. And that is why it is so important to hold on to it. And it's going to be things that you are going to encounter in life that is going to challenge you in holding on to the vision. But when you hold on to the vision, your life will be in a way that you desire it to be. See, it's going to be either or. You are going to have a vision that has been placed inside of you for you to develop, or you're going to be assigned to somebody else's vision to help them develop because of your skill set. But regardless of whatever is happening, we should be developing and working on a vision. For without a vision, the people perish. So it is important that we have vision. So I'm excited about the presentation for today. And when you do think about some of the people back in history, see, the thing when I say in with the new and out with the old, the individuals in history that we talk about today, they weren't too hype about the past. They were more hype about how it can be. They weren't looking at how it was. They started to see how it could be. They believed it in their hearts that it can be something different than what they had currently experienced. And that is what is so exciting. So then that's why I say in with the new, out with the old, because the people who made history, they were not so infatuated with history. They were more infatuated with how it can be in the future if they made the present differently. So you look at the J.B. Stratfords of the world, who was the cornerstone in the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but he was born in 1861 in Versailles, Kentucky as a slave. And by 1899, he moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. By 1920, he became the richest black man in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He had the largest black-owned 65-room Stratford hotel in the United States by 1920. Now, I know that when he would have told somebody in 1861 that he was going to be the richest black man in Tulsa, Oklahoma by 1920, or he was going to own the largest hotel in the United States of America by a black individual, I'm sure that people would have heard that and they would have said, no, that is not possible, because we look at what has happened and you just come out of slavery. It is no way that you are going to be able to accomplish these type of things. See, but this is what a vision does. It defies the odds. See, a vision is different from what you see with your sight. See, when you look and hold on to that vision and have that belief that is within your heart, now you are in a position to do things that have not been done before. How do you do the impossible? You just start to do. The only way that you can achieve the impossible is if you begin to do the impossible. But so often we don't begin to do the impossible, and that's why the impossible remains impossible, because don't nobody try to change the impossible to possible. So I look at the vision that the J.B. Stratfords of the world had back then, and I start to just think about the vision and how important it is to holding on to the vision. And what is the vision that I've been given? I've been given a vision, and I've been holding on to it ever since. And that vision that I'm going to share with you all today is turn the penitentiary on its head, stand the community on its feet. We're going to get that done by turning the mentality that gets people incarcerated on its head and stand a mentality that will put you back with your families, raising your children as an asset to your community. We're going to stand that mentality on its feet. I'm excited about this vision because this vision is something that directly impacts everybody in this building, and you should be excited about it as well, because this vision is something that people say that it is not possible. But again, a vision is something that you believe in your heart, and I just believe it. I will not let it go. I believe it. I know the value that exists inside of these walls. So I'm going to share with you all today that vision. So when we're talking about the vision, let's go ahead and cover a little bit of backstory for the people in here who don't know my backstory, because we got to know how I came to capture the vision. See, because a lot of times it's not that we going to run into the vision or we going to chase the vision. No, we capture the vision. So I'm going to let you know how I captured the vision. I was raised in a single-parent household with my brother, and my father raised me and my brother. My mother, she got addicted to crack back in the 80s, and she could not be there. My father raised me and my brother alongside with my grandmother. My father and my grandmother, they both worked they both worked full-time jobs. My father, he worked at Oberlin College as a janitor. My grandmother, she worked in children's services in Cleveland, Ohio. She would get off at 6 o'clock, and my father, he would get off at 9. So what that did is that it left me and my brother open to the environment. So because we were so open to the environment, what me and my brother did is that we went there and we got a mentality. We adopted the information that was given in that environment, and we started to develop a mentality. And that environment told us that the way that we were going to be able to make it to our next level is if we sell dope, or if we rob, or we're going to get high, or one of these things was our choices. And because these were our choices, I chose to sell dope. In the summer of 8th grade, at 13 years old, I started to sell marijuana. Before the summer was over, I had started to sell crack cocaine because I seen that it was advantageous for me to include this customer base in my business. I'm just saying though. So I made the decision to sell marijuana and crack cocaine. So I just committed to this life. And 2 weeks after my 19th birthday, I was riding down the street and I was trying to avoid the potholes because I had the 84 Cutlass with the big rims on it, and I was trying to avoid the potholes so I didn't damage my fender on my vehicle. So I'm trying to avoid the potholes, and next thing that I knew, I get pulled over by the police. Now, when I get pulled over by the police, what was in my trunk was some crack, cocaine, individually bag, and also some money and a 410 sawed-off shotgun, a 9mm with the serial number scratched off. It was brand new, fresh out the box. I got it from the Jamaicans. So I get pulled over, right? And when I get pulled over, now this is my first time that I've caught a felony. So all of my years that I was in the streets from 13 to 19, I never did get hit with any type of felony. So I had basically skated through all of that time. So then when I get hit, I get charged with possession of drugs, drug trafficking because it was individually bagged, and also possession of firearms. I bonded out, and when I bonded out, I got back to the streets. I got back busy again. So when I get out, and I just took it to another level, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, it just started to click for me that it never clicked for me like this ever since I had been hustling, and I started to get some clientele that was really good, and I can remember about 6 months later, I had caught another case, and this case I had caught because I got word about my good friend that was driving my vehicle. I heard that he was stealing my dope that I was selling, and when I found this out, because he told the wrong person that ended up telling me, and when I found out, I told them when they told me that I'm going to go ahead and abide by the rules of the game, and I'm going to go ahead and lay him down. It is my responsibility to go ahead and end his existence on this earth. I'm going to play by the rules of the game. So I was so committed to the streets that I said, I'm ready to rock and roll. So when I caught him late night and I said, man, okay, this is the perfect time. I catch him late night. I say, man, hey, come on, get in the car, because he didn't know what was going on. Now I'm going to give you a little backstory on the relationship between me and him. This was my good friend. His mom called me son. His son called me uncle. So I'm just letting you know how close we were. We grew up in the sandbox together, but he had got to a point to where he wasn't making money like he wanted to make money. So he figured that he would go ahead and steal what I had because he felt like that I could absorb the blow, but I was on a mission at that time. So at 19, I said, man, you know what? I have no choice. I have no option, because I cannot continue to exist in the streets if I allow him to get by, because this is the information that I have been given to develop the mentality that I got. I said that I got to be committed to this. I got to go ahead and lay him down. I have no option. So I tell him to get in the car. We start to ride. I get him to the back streets of where I'm at, and my two brothers was with me too as well. And I said that, man, it's going down. When we get there to the back streets, there's no houses, there's no lights or nothing. You couldn't see nothing. I tell him, I said, man, you got to get out the vehicle. And when he says, man, get out the vehicle for what? I says, man, you got to get out the vehicle, man. You got to walk. I don't want you to ride no more. He says, okay, man, forget you then, man. I'm going to walk. When he gets out the vehicle, I had an 85 Caprice at that time, because they took my 84 Cutlass when they found the things in the trunk. I had an 85 Caprice at that time. I said, get out the car. So I got out of the two-door Caprice, and when he gets out, I put the pistol to the back of his head. I pull the trigger. Now, before I pulled the trigger, I'm going to let you know that I felt in my heart that it wasn't right, but I ignored that feeling because I felt that I was boxed in. I felt like I had no choice but to go ahead and move through with this, because I did not want to face the hood. So I pulled the trigger. He ran off into the night. No, it hit him dead in the back of the head. I'm not a marksman, so I put the pistol to the back of his head. I wasn't going to try to test my aim. So I put the pistol to the back of his head to make sure that I got him. So when I shot the gun, he ran into the night. I shot it again. It hit him in the back, and he continued to run. And he said, Carlos shot me. But what had happened after I had drove off, me and my two brothers, we drove off. He finds a house in the middle of nowhere, and before he passes out, he says, Carlos Christian shot me. They came and picked me up by 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. After that, I pled guilty to attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, possession of firearms. 19 years old. At that time, I had a 3-month-old son, and I was excited to be a father, but now I knew that I was going to have to go away and do 10 years inside a Wabash Correctional Institution. I said that I got to do what I need to do. Now, this, men, is when I started to see the vision. This is when I captured the vision, because I started to look at the setup of the prison, and I said that I don't like the way that it looks around here. I don't like this experience. This is not the Cayman Islands or the Bahamas. I need to change this environment. This is when I knew that the information that I had was bogus, because it led me to a place that I did not want to be. I said that I'm not in a position to be able to raise my son now. Who's going to raise my son? Who's going to give my son the information that he's going to need to have so he can develop and be a successful adult? Is young Jeezy going to give him the information? This is when I started to understand that this will never happen to me again. It's over with. This will never happen to me again. This is the vision. It was in my heart. Now, in my eyes, and what I can see with my eyes was that, Carlos, how are you going to be able to overcome a 10-year prison sentence? Carlos, how are you going to be able to overcome attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, possession of firearms? That's what my eyes would tell me, because I've seen people go home and come back in all day long. Doing a 10-year prison sentence, you see people go home and come back in, go home, come back in. So this is what I've seen my entire time. But see, my heart, that vision that was in my heart, it said that, man, I'm going to be a father, because that's who I am. I'm a leader. I'm a king. I'm going to do things that I need to do to exhibit that. The vision. Capturing the vision. It's so important to capture the vision, because when you capture that vision, you will be able to withstand all of the challenges that come against you, because that vision just gives you fire. It gives you energy. It gives you the ability to look somebody in the face and say, look, listen, brother, I don't care what you're talking about, man. I'm about to go ahead and get done what I need to get done. I'm on a mission. I got a vision, and I'm going towards my vision. Turn the penitentiary on his head, stand the community on his feet. I'm about to turn the mentality that has got me incarcerated on his head, and I'm going to stand the mentality that will put me on a Carnival cruise with my children, watching the Cavs games, watching the Browns games. I'm going to put that mentality on his head. See, that vision gave me the ability to be able to withstand anybody who disagreed. Yeah, people would say that, Carlos, man, you tripping, man. Hey, that ain't gonna work, that ain't gonna work, that ain't gonna work. Man, this stuff done scared you, Carlos. But I said that, man, I don't care what y'all talking about, man. I got to attack the mentality. I got to get the information that I need to attack the mentality. Information influences thinking, and thinking controls behavior. That means that I need to take advantage of everything that is offered inside of the facility. I got into scripture. I started to let scripture saturate my mind, because I said that I got to develop this new way of thinking, because the thinking is what got me here. I need to develop a new way of thinking, and the only way that I'm going to be able to develop a new way of thinking, to be able to see my vision come to fruition, is if I get the information that body slams the information that I had came in here with. See, that information was bogus that I had received from the hood at 13 years old. It was not accurate. It wasn't going to to get me the things in life that I desired to have. I got into college. I studied scripture. I got into college. I graduated from business management with a 3.83 GPA. I went on to vocational training. I graduated from there with a 4.0 in administrative office technology. I learned the computers, Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and Access. See, but men, the thing about the vision is that it is always going to be challenges to get you to try to drop the vision. See, I had the vision. Turn the penitentiary on its head, stand the community on its feet. That was the vision. What was the challenges? Los, man, go ahead and hit this weed, Los. Los, man, come on and play basketball with us. No, I'm not about to play basketball with y'all brothers, because every time that brothers is playing basketball, brothers get to calling each other all different types of names. I don't want to be called different types of names. I'm not going to try myself like that, because I can transform. And if I transform, then I can be in a situation that I don't desire to be. We don't need to be in the middle of nowhere getting all bloody because I'm out here on the court playing basketball with brothers. That's the challenge, to try to get me to drop the vision. People said that, Carlos, ain't no way you're going to be able to do 10 years inside a Marion Correctional Institution without going to the hole. I said, you a lie. I'm going to do 1 day without going to the hole. And that 1 day turned into 10 years. Why did I have to do 1 day without going to the hole? Because we had My Child and I Day visits that our children can come up there for the whole entire day. And then the coast side, they would bring animals inside of the facility. They would have cakes. It would be like a picnic. It would be just like a big carnival. But the only way that you can attend these events is if you did not go to the hole. I said, I don't care what y'all brothers is doing. I got to do what I got to do. I got a vision. And because I got that vision, I can't let it go, because if I let that vision go, it's going to be too many people that will be impacted in a negative way. If I hold on to it, it's going to be a lot of people that will be impacted in a positive way, because I understood that the mentality that I came in with, it was a lot of people who had the same mentality. The only way that this mentality is going to be able to be attacked is if it's shown how to fight it. The challenges is great. The challenges is great, man. You got to do what is hard, so your life will be easy. You got to. So I get released in 2007. Men, the vision, turn the penitentiary on its head, stand the community on its feet. I get released right before the economy was declared the Great Recession. Another challenge to get me to drop the vision, turn the penitentiary on its head, stand the community on its feet. That means that I got to get released right before the economy was declared the Great Recession. I'm not going to recidivate and go back to selling dope again, because if I do that, then I would be sitting down the vision. I got to hold on to the vision. So yeah, I see that stuff coming at me. This is what I came into. And people were saying that, Carlos, you filling out so many applications, there's no way that you are going to get a job, brother. Just go ahead and tap out. Just give in, brother. We got a pack for you, Los. Holding on to the vision. I said, I'm going to resist that. I ended up getting a job. I got a job for $6.85 an hour. Was that job hard? Yes. The less you get paid, the harder you work. I worked that job for like it was $40 an hour, because I got a vision. And the only way that that vision was going to be able to come through fruition is if I did what needed to be done. That means that I had to do the hard in order to see that vision come to fruition. I reported on time. I gave them everything that I got. You see the sweat that's pouring all down my face right now? That's how I was at work. They like, this brother is serious. You absolutely right, I'm serious, because I got a vision that I cannot let go of. You absolutely right. The challenges that we face to get us to try to just drop the vision, but we cannot drop the vision. Man, I would be negligent if I came in here and I told you about everything that we're doing right now. I gotta tell you about the things that I had went through to get to where I'm at right now. Because that's reality. I'm not gonna tell you, brother, just go home and start up a business. No, brother, I'm gonna tell you, become an employee, then you become an employer. It's a process. The challenges that get me to drop the vision, but I just would not let go, because I couldn't let go. Because why? Because my son was 10 years old. I said that I had to be the father to him. I'm going to the football games. I'm going to football practices. I'm going to school. I'm going to the school to parent-teacher conferences. I'm doing all of the things that I was supposed to do. And the thing about when you are attached and you are attached to the vision, it's going to be things that's going to come at you that's going to be crazy. See, a lot of times we feel like that just because we are trying to do right, it's going to just open up for us. It doesn't happen like that. You got to continue to walk even though it's coming at you, even though it's in your face. You got to continue to walk. You got to say that the vision is too great for me to let it go. And I'm going to fight and claw and do whatever I need to do to get it done. I didn't communicate with child support, man, because I thought that since they had gotten the money from my commissary when I was incarcerated for my state pay, I said that they would just go ahead and find me and get the money again. That didn't happen. They sent out the notice and said, Carlos, hey, look, we need you to pay your child support. They sent it to an old address that I was not at. That counted as me being served. They sent it to an address in Cleveland, Ohio. I was staying in Columbus, Ohio, but because I didn't report and tell child support where I was at and where I was moving to, I wasn't in contact with child support. What child support did is that they moved in on me with disciplinary actions, because they said that, hey, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do as far as child support is concerned. Man, they ended up taking my driver's license. I lost my driver's license. I get pulled over, they say, you ain't got no more driver's license. Child support has gotten your driver's license. I checked the computer one time, and I look at the computer checking my checking account. They said that child support that wiped out all of my money in my checking account. I was making $8.50 an hour. I was stacking up my money. I was seeing my son every single day. I was picking him up from his mother's house. I was going in the morning and picking him up. I would take him back after school. I would pick him up after school, take him to my house. I would take him to his mother's house at 10 o'clock at night. We would repeat that cycle every single day. His mom wasn't tripping about child support. I wasn't tripping about child support. She wasn't thinking about child support. I wasn't thinking about child support, but child support was thinking about child support. Men, when I sat there and I looked at my account and they took everything out of my account, man, I sat there at that table because I'm just like, man, I'm trying to do everything that I'm supposed to do. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. It was a body blow. I did 10 years. I didn't go to the hole. I'm home. I'm getting my son's school clothes. I'm going to the football practices. I'm going to football games. I'm taking him to the dentist. I'm doing all of the things that I'm supposed to do. How can child support, how can this happen to me? Trying to get me to drop the vision. How can this happen to me? I wanted to shed some tears, and I'm not even playing. I'm like, I got rent to pay. So I go to his mom, and I say, I felt like Red on Friday. I go to her. If anybody don't know Red on Friday, just check out Friday. It's a good movie, right? I go to Red. I sound like Red on Friday, right? I said, hey, man, you know child support tripping, man. They done messed around. They done took all my money, man. They said they sending it to you, man. Can I at least get 50% of it? You know I got bills. She looked at me and she said, I already got it. She's like, it came right on time. That money spent. I say that's cold-blooded. She said that money spent. Challenging the vision. Trying to get me to drop the vision. I can't drop the vision, man. I can't drop the vision. Because at that time, I could have said, man, forget this stuff. I'm going back to doing what I know how to do. But see, we got to establish a new norm. If we are going to get to where we need to be at in life, we got to have a new norm. We can't go back to that old norm. So my norm now was, hey, I got to get to work. I got to grind a little bit harder. I got to get myself to where I need to be, because now this job is going to turn into a better job, and that job is going to turn into a better job. I got to do something to intentionally make my situation better, or it will be worse. And if I don't like it right now and it's bad, see, this is the indicator. If I understand that it is bad right now, then I know that if I don't do something to intentionally make it better, then it will be worse. And if I don't like the bad, then I will not definitely like the worse. Yeah. I'm not about to do something to make my situation worse. So I said that I'm going to go ahead and grind. I got a better job, and then I got a better job. And then in 2011, that's when I started to search within organization. That's when the vision really started to come to fruition now. Now we got an organization to help accomplish the vision of turning the penitentiary on its head and standing the community on its feet. Now I'm excited. Now it's time to rock and roll. Started the nonprofit, and I was still working my full-time job, man. I didn't have contracts. People weren't paying me to speak. I was working third shift, and alongside of me working third shift, I would be doing this during the day. So I was working 18-hour shifts, holding on to the vision. Was it hard? Absolutely right. It was hard. My job on third shift was incentive-based. That means that if you don't pick the cases right in the warehouse, you would get paid $8 an hour. But if you pick the cases right in the warehouse, you would get paid $18.50. I picked the cases right because I understood that I could not be there for long. No sleep. I picked the cases right. I wasn't even getting sleep, but I made sure that I was accurate in my picking because I understood that I needed to stack up my revenue so I could go ahead and transition into full, complete, accomplishing the vision that I've been given. I needed to give it my full attention. In 2014, that's when I fired my boss. I said that I'm going to do this thing full time now. I resigned, man. And I remember that when I was given my resignation letter, I can recall that my supervisor was like, Carlos, you know that you got felonies, right? And if you leave, you ain't coming back. We're going to fill your position and it's going to be over. You making $18.50, are you sure? Absolutely right, I'm sure. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. And as soon as I said that, the contracts dried up on me. I had a father factory where I was teaching parenting classes. The contracts dried up on me. I said, this is crazy. What is going on? How can the contracts dry up on me during these times when I made such a bold move? How can this happen? But see, this is what it's trying to get me to do. It's trying to get me life. It's trying to get me to sit down the vision. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stick to my guns. And right after that, right after the contracts dried up, guess what happened, man? That's when I wrote The Prison Without Bars. I wrote the book, Prison Without Bars. I had got the information from one of my close friends. He said, Carlos, here goes an online course. It shows you how to write a book. It gave me the framework on how to write the book. I said, good, this is good stuff. After I got that framework, I wrote the book in 15 days. As soon as I wrote the book, now the book started to get purchased by agencies. That means that the sheriff of Delaware County Jail said that, man, you know what? I need to buy hundreds and hundreds of copies of your book because your mentality is a mentality that I want to promote. I need to buy 600, 700, 800 copies of the book. He buys the book with seized drug money, man. Hold up. Because I'm going to tell you about the vision. See, he buys the book with seized drug money. That means that at 19 years old, I got pulled over. They took my drugs got took. My money got took. My 2 cars that I had, my Caprice and my Colors, they got took because it said that it was bought by drug money. Now, man, my books are getting purchased by seized drug money. See, when you hold on to the vision, things will happen that have never been seen before. That's what makes a vision so beneficial. That's what makes a vision so special. A vision has been placed in your spirit by God. That means that you are responsible to develop that vision. That's why I'm excited. We done started the Starts Within organization, and right now where we at with the Starts Within organization is remarkable things. We done graduated 4 year-long classes of the Starts Within organization, year-long classes, where we cover 5 different modules: parenting for 8 weeks, cognitive behavior therapy for 8 weeks, financial literacy for 8 weeks, employment readiness for 12 weeks, and small business and entrepreneurship for 12 weeks. That means that before you get released, we need you to pull your credit report, because it's people that are outside in society that is pulling your credit and opening stuff up in your name and allowing those things to go delinquent. I need you to learn how to read your credit report. I don't need you to learn how to read a mock credit report. I want you to learn how to read your credit report. So now you can learn how to dispute what's on your credit report, to clean your credit report up. So then when you get released, you don't have to try to get to ground level. You'll already be at the ground. See, because a lot of times, if brothers is up underneath the ground when they get released, they're going to stay underground. They're going to function underground because that is where they are comfortable. So what I want to teach inside of the Walking Logo program is how to function on ground level. Exciting times. We got professors coming from different colleges to be able to implement the curriculum. This is just me grinding, man. This is me holding on to the vision. Doing that which is supposed to be impossible. Because I understand how important it is. We going to somewhere else with this whole Starts Within organization. With the movement, the vision is coming to fruition. And that's what I want y'all to just attach yourselves to today. Because the only way that it's going to be able to get to where it needs to be is if it got to take everybody. It's not going to be done just by me. Can't sit on the sideline and just watch me do the work, right? We got to all come together and say we all are going to participate in getting this thing accomplished. I'm not going to sit back and say, Carlos, I see you put in the work, good stuff. Now men are saying, man, how do we get the vision accomplished? How do we do our part? The way that you do your part is by adopting a mentality that will not get you incarcerated, attacking a mentality that has gotten you incarcerated, and then you take that mentality back to the streets. How do you take it back to the streets? You can write it. If you're still in here and you're going to be in here for years, you write it back to the streets. People who come in, you go ahead and tell them how to adopt a mentality that will never get you incarcerated ever again. With this Walking Logo, the 5th year-long class that we got, man, I got it set up in a different way. The way that I got it set up is that we got 10 people who are going home within 18 to 24 months, but we also got 10 people who have life sentences. And people say, man, why do you got people who got life sentences inside of the class? Why? They're not going home. Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because they fall in alignment with the vision. The reason why they fall in alignment with the vision, because if we can get the people who have life sentences with the information that they need to attack the culture that produces a mentality that gets people incarcerated, when people come inside of the prison on their first number, they will come to a culture that has been attacked by the people with life sentences. That means that as long as you are doing your sentence until you get paroled, you should be here attacking the culture that gets people incarcerated. You got a contribution to make. I don't care about you having a life sentence, you still got a contribution to make. You got value inside of you. I need the people who are getting released 18 to 24 months. I need you to go back into your community. I need you to go back into your community with the information that contradicts the information that produces the mentality that gets people incarcerated. What's that information? Brother, I don't want to be incarcerated. I don't like prison. It's not the place to be. You're not about to get no stripes by going to prison, brother. That is uncomfortable. It's undesirable. Matter of fact, brother, listen, man, prison is this, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except for as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any other place subject to his jurisdiction. That's the 13th Amendment. That's the law of the land. The only way that you can be a slave in the United States of America is if you get convicted of a crime and it serves as punishment. So why do I want to continue to adopt a mentality that puts me in a position to be a legal slave? I'm volunteering to be a slave by my actions. It's people who are 13 years old right now that is adopting the mentality that I had adopted when I was 13 because nobody told me the 13th Amendment. Nobody told me how prison really was. When people got released from prison, they said that it was no big deal. I did it standing on my head. I'm the G now. And then they got celebrated. And because they got celebrated, I said that, man, is that the worst thing that can happen to me? Let me get my money. But see, they weren't telling the whole story. They weren't telling that at 12 o'clock at midnight, they were wondering who was raising their children. They were hurt because they didn't know who was with their girls. They didn't tell you about how they didn't like going down to the chow hall. They didn't tell you about how they complained. Like most people inside of prison do not want to be in prison. When people say that people enjoy being in prison, I always say that is a lie. People just don't know how to get up out of there. So then they just make it look like it's okay with them, but it's not really okay. If they had a way, then they will take it. So the vision is to give brothers the way. Now, everybody ain't going to take it, right? But I'm talking about the ones that do. Everybody ain't going to take it. It's going to bounce off somebody's mentality, minds, and be like, I'm still going to continue to do what I'm going to do. And I'm going to expect everybody else to do all that they need to do for me to be successful, instead of me doing all that I need to do for me to be successful. What do I got to do? I got to develop myself. I got to develop the value that's within inside of me. You are supposed to be here. It is not a mistake. I'm not talking about prison. I'm talking about on this earth. You are supposed to be here. The chances of you being conceived was not high. 1 out of 9 million sperm? Or something like that. 1 out of 9 million sperm? You are not a mistake. You are supposed to be here. And matter of fact, if you was not here, the world would be out of order. Everybody who is here is supposed to be here. So when I come into the prisons and I let people know, you are supposed to be here. So when I talk to that greatness that's within inside of you. See, because it's not about what you did. It's not even about what you do. It's about what you are, who you are. Your left side different from your right side. All of your fingerprints on your hand is different. Your DNA is restricted to just you. It hasn't been a DNA like yours before you. It won't be a DNA like yours after you. You are a one-on-one. Anything that is a one-on-one cannot be duplicated, has got to be valuable. So we got to bring that value out because you have a contribution to make. So I'm going to do all that I need to do to hold on to the vision. I peek out the blinds, and it's a level 2 snow emergency in Columbus, Ohio. I got to hold on to the vision. I got a room full of brothers in Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. I got to hold on to the vision. I ain't drive the dang on Benz. The dang on motor blew on my Benz. I drew my girl's Honda. And that puppy light in the mug. It seems like it goes all over the road. Right. But this is what it's all about, man. I just won't stop. See, the thing about this is, man, I'll go regardless. My son was supposed to come with me, but he got caught up doing some other things with his girl or whatever may be the case. But I said, son, that's cool. You ain't gonna drive? Guess what? This vision is too important for me to let it go. I'll drive myself. What are you gonna do when it doesn't all add up the way that you intended for it to add up? Are you going to sit down or are you going to continue to move forward? If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, you walk. If you can't walk, you crawl. But by all means, you keep it moving. Because you got a vision to bring to fruition. And the only way that it's going to come to fruition is if you keep it moving. The moment that you sit down is the moment that it does not come to fruition. And when it does not come to fruition, it will impact society in a negative way. It is your responsibility to attach yourself to a vision or to develop the vision that has been placed inside of you. Time is your most valuable asset. Utilize it. The billionaire has the same 24 hours as the beggar. What are we doing with our time, man? So be inspired. Utilize the time and develop yourself. Look at me and know that it is possible. I've been home for 12 years. I have eclipsed my 10-year prison sentence by 2 years. Know that it is possible. The way that it got accomplished is because I abandoned a mentality that got me incarcerated. You just got to believe. Not what you see with your eyes, but what's in your heart. If you believe that you got a contribution to make, then a contribution will be made. But if you believe what everybody has told you, lay down. Lay down. Men, what's the vision? Turn the penitentiary on its head. So I'm going to ask you this. In closing, everybody is going to need to be a part of this movement. When I'm out there and I'm showing people, other people such as myself, because a lot of times people think that I'm a unicorn. They think that it's only one of me, but it's not. It's just, I know I said the left side different from your right side, yeah. But what I'm saying is that it's a whole bunch of people that get the same information and they can do similar things as well. They can overcome prison as well. They can be an asset as well. People come from the same environment that I've come from. But the people just got to believe. So you see me here, and this is the penitentiary. Nah, that's the penitentiary. Hello. And this is as real as it's going to be. I just spoke to the people on federal probation and parole on Friday, and I asked them the same thing, because this is what it's going to take. This is the penitentiary. And you see me over here struggling. It's the vision that I've been given. I'm trying to turn it on its head. What's going to happen? Well, hey, brothers ain't gonna help me. I'm gonna keep on, because Los don't want to drive me to Wabash. I'ma still go. See, the thing about a vision, if people come and help you or not, you still going to commit to bringing it to fruition. Brothers, what I'm saying is that who in the audience right now is going to help me turn the penitentiary on its head? You got to do more than just raise your hands, brothers. Brothers, help. Right. We got to get it on his head.
Straight up. Let's go.
This is how it's done. Hold it down. Now we need people to hold it down. We got a couple people good. Come on. We got a couple brothers. Come on. They're still struggling. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what it's going to take. We can't sit back and watch everybody get it done. We can't expect everybody to do everything for us. We got to do that stuff. The way that we do it is by attacking the mentality that has gotten us incarcerated. This is how we hold down the penitentiary. As long as we continue to allow the mentality to exist in our neighborhoods, then the more that the penitentiary will continue to stand. But it's going to take us saying, man, I don't care how I look.
That's right.
I don't care what anybody's going to say. I don't care if I crowd up there. I'm going to get up there because it's that important.
Right. Amen. Amen. Real.
It's that important.
Yes,
I don't want the penitentiary to be standing on his head. I don't want it to be standing on his feet. If it's standing on his feet, then that means that my children will grow up in a society that will put them in a bad place. Because how do I take care of my family if the society that they stay in is corrupt? How can you keep somebody clean in a dirty tub? They will get dirty by the dirt in the tub. This is everybody's issue. This is everybody's problem.
man.
And we got to be the solution.
That's right.
When I was 19 years old, I said that I'm going to be a part of the solution, because it's not going to stop happening until I do something to get it to stop happening.
Amen.
Until you do something to get it to stop happening. Brothers, I appreciate y'all. Let's put the... That's what it's going to take, man. It's going to take that type of grind where I don't care what y'all think. I don't care what anybody thinks. It's going to take that type of grind to get it done. I stopped cussing inside of the penitentiary. I didn't care what people were saying. I said, I'm not going to cuss no more, because that language is a part of the thing that added to my mentality. So I'm going to abandon everything that I was doing, because I didn't feel too successful being separated from my son at 10 years, for 10 years, and he would be 10 years old. I didn't feel too successful when his mom would tell me that I can't do dad, that he can't do donuts with dad, and she can't do muffins with moms because she got to work 2 shifts. So I said I was going to do whatever I needed to do. I didn't care how people looked at me. I cared about accomplishing the vision, bringing the vision to fruition. Turn the penitentiary on its head, stand the community on its feet. That's my time, man. I appreciate y'all. So we got another Black History Month celebration in Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. The guys was inspired. The greatest resource that we have is our minds, and filling the brothers with some good stuff in their minds so then they can be all that they need to be. Beautiful thing. That's the mission.